Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. I can hear you too.
How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, thank you. How about you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for accepting the Q&A interview.
Yeah, not a problem. Happy to do it.
Would you care to say who you are and what you do for anyone who doesn't know?
Sure. Yeah. So I'm Gavin Eisenweiss. I am an indie game developer. So I make video games. I work solo. I'm currently working on a larger scale project called My Beautiful Paper Smile, and I've also put out a handful of free games over the past few years, like Cloud Climber, um, and a few other ones. And that's kind of what I do. I'm just working on games, trying to figure it all out, and hopefully trying to make a living doing it.
So do you have an 8-hour job right now? Is this a side
Uh,
project you do?
no, I'm just doing game development.
Oh, so it's a full-time thing you're doing.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. So I saw that what did you do Cloud Climber for? It was for a contest, right?
yeah. So Cloud Climber was for a game jam. It was for so the people who make Unreal Engine, which is the game engine I use, they do an annual game jam called the Epic Mega Jam. So it's a 1 week game jam just for people who use Unreal Engine. And so I did that. The theme for the game jam was "It's been a long time, but we're not done yet." And so I made Cloud Climber for that jam, and I didn't win anything, but I'm still really happy with the game.
Hey, you completed it, you
Really
know?
happy with the response it's gotten and stuff. And yeah.
Since that one was on a time restraint, was any of your other games on a time restraint, or is that just the only one?
So another free game I made, My Friend is a Raven, that was also for the previous year's Epic Mega Jam. So yes, but that was the only other one. At least current. I've done a couple other game jams like in the past, long ago, but I don't want to talk about those ones.
Or those failed
Those-
attempts?
yeah, pretty much.
So, do you come up with a lot of ideas for games, and are they a lot of them like scrapped or combined?
I scrap most of my ideas. Kind of over the years, my criteria for what I consider to be a good game idea, it just keeps on getting more and more narrow. So, when I'm doing a game jam or something, I don't really have that much time to be picky. Um, so I kind of just have to go with not necessarily the first thing I come up with, but I've got like a day, to figure something out.
Right,
But
right.
when it comes to like making a list of stuff that I want to do in the future, I'm pretty particular about what I choose. So like even now, like I don't know what my next project is going to be. I don't, like most people have like a massive list of games that they want to make, but I don't know. I don't know yet. So yeah.
That's all right. Some people plot and some people pants it when writing, so.
Yeah.
Most of your games are in the horror genre, but Cloud Climber is more post-apocalyptic. Is there a reason you chose this route?
Mostly just because it just made sense for the game. I don't necessarily have any particular attachment to the horror genre. I just, a few years back, I just thought it was super cool, and so that's kind of the kind of game that I started making. But I don't really know if I'll keep on doing that kind of thing in the future. And so when this game jam came around, I was pretty much up to make whatever I came up with, whatever I thought would fit the theme, really. And so since Cloud Climber was, one of the first ideas I had, and it was the first idea that I liked, I even considered making it a horror game, actually. I thought about, taking a game that's all about towers and water and, all this stuff, I was like, I wonder if there's any way that I could make this spooky. And I was like, no, I don't think there is. So I just decided to go basically the opposite route. And I mean, and I'm happy with it,
Yeah.
I'm
It's a good game.
pretty happy with that decision. So yeah.
Did the people in Cloud Climber realize they forgot to build handrails? Someone did fall off,
Oh yeah, that is true. Well, apparently they didn't. I don't know. Maybe they just I don't know. I haven't chatted with them lately. So
well, they're all dead, so.
Well, that too. That's also a problem.
I remember playing the game and it didn't really hit me until a little while into it, I guess, climbing up, where I had to climb downstairs, but all of a sudden I looked over the ledge, I was like, oh my god, can I fall right now? I actually tried it.
Yeah, I've gotten comments from people who are frustrated that they couldn't jump off the towers.
My friend was frustrated. I'm like, I'm glad.
Yeah, I just felt like that would be really like anticlimactic. Like you're just like walking along and you accidentally fall off the tower and just die. I don't know.
I feel like people are gonna be angry that you didn't put that in, but then people are gonna be mad that you did put that in because they're gonna accidentally die.
I feel like more people would be mad if I did put it in. So, yeah.
You mentioned you had some technical difficulty in your DLC video. Can you like elaborate on any of the problems you were facing specifically?
Yeah. So the main problems that people tend to run into in game jams and even just in game development in general, at least when using Unreal Engine. I'm not so sure about other engines, but I know it's a very common issue in Unreal, is problems packaging the game. So for anybody who's not super familiar with game development processes and stuff, you've got a software where you make your game, you do all your programming, and you build your levels and stuff. But then when you ship a game and you publish it on Steam or whatever, you have to go through a process called packaging. And it's usually pretty simple. You click a couple buttons and it makes your project files into an executable. It's like exporting a video file, if anybody's done, like video editing stuff. So basically in Unreal, it's a very finicky process. So having just some random little error somewhere can completely throw off this whole thing and cause your game to not package, making it so that you can't publish your game until you get this stuff fixed. And it can take hours or days or weeks to figure out what the root cause of a packaging error is. And so I had multiple packaging issues during the game jam on I think on the third or fourth day. Basically, I spent about a day of the jam just trying to fix all these random issues, like random checkboxes that weren't ticked. And I had this one variable that wasn't named correctly, and so the engine didn't like that. So it's annoying. I think it's mostly just in Unreal Engine. I haven't used other games, so I'm not entirely sure if this is like a common issue in other tools as well, but I know it is in Unreal. A lot of people talk about it being tough. So in all these Unreal Engine game jams, these packaging issues often are what cause people to not even be able to finish. So I talked with some other developers and did a lot of Google searching and eventually figured it all out relatively quickly. Some of this, sometimes it can take like weeks to figure this stuff out. On my first game that I published in Unreal Engine, I was totally unfamiliar with all the different kinds of packaging error and stuff, and I spent like 2 months trying to fix one of these packaging errors. So it can be very annoying, but luckily I got it fixed pretty quickly and was able to finish, and so it was good.
You had 1 full week to complete it, right?
Yes. Yeah.
About how many hours did you actually work on your game to complete it?
Um. You know, that's a tough one. It was probably like 10 or 12 hours a day. Um, I think on the last day, I didn't work on it very much. I think on the last day, I probably just worked on like setting up the store page and stuff. Because at that point, like the game was done, and like technically, I could have spent more time adding more stuff to it, but I didn't want to introduce any like game-breaking bugs or anything, so I decided I'll just submit it as is, and not get all risky and stuff. So
Right.
yeah, so it's probably like 80 or 90 hours or so, something like that.
It's probably not bad for that short of a game, is it?
No, I mean, I'm pretty impressed with it.
I
I
mean,
mean,
some people might say there's not much to it, but all the work that goes into it.
yeah, I mean, yeah, like gameplay wise, definitely not, but there is a lot that goes into it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you think you'll expand on the game since there's a lot of mystery in it, such as what's going on at the bottom of the towers that we don't know about, and the rest of the diary entries that we can't read?
Yeah. I don't know. I really don't know. Because I think a big thing for me personally is that I want to be able to do new things. I want to be able to make new things, and not like constrain myself to, a single genre or to a single, a series or something.
Yeah.
Like you see companies, they find one successful product, right, and then they just expand on it for 10 years or whatever. And so I don't want to do that. I want to figure out how to make every game good, even if it's different,
Right.
And I just find that to be a lot more fun. So while there is a possibility that maybe 5 years down the line, I'll look back at Cloud Climber and I'll be like, wow, that was a really great game. I want to work on this more or something. While that's a possibility, I don't see it happening anytime soon.
Fair enough. You said one of the games you're working on is My Beautiful Paper Smile. Was that it?
Yes. Yeah.
I thought that one was already out. Am I thinking of another game?
Well, it's in early access. So the first 3 out of 4 chapters are out, and I'm working on the 4th one. So yeah, so that one I'm hoping to have done probably close to the end of summer, and hopefully we'll do our full launch around that time, kind of towards the end of the year. And yeah, so I'm still working on that one.
All right. Your art style, is that inspired from anything? Because it reminds me of Bendy and the Ink Machine, kind of.
Yes, a lot of people do say that. It might have been like a subconscious kind of inspiration thing, because that's something that I do find myself doing. Like for example, one of the enemy characters in My Beautiful Paper Smile, after I created it, I realized that it looked kind of similar to a character from another game, and I was like, oh shoot, how the heck did I do that? I didn't want to do that. But I don't know. So I was definitely inspired by games like Bendy and the Ink Machine, because it had a unique art style. Games like Bendy, Cuphead. I'm trying to think of other ones, but I can't. I don't know. All those cool artsy games. And so it was a big goal for me to make something unique, make a unique art style, something that would be recognizable. And so since I like doing, like hand-drawn art, sketches, stuff like that, I ended up going with that. And Bendy uses a similar technique. They do hand-drawn, but it's it's like with a drawing tablet. And I think I'm trying to think how exactly they do their stuff. I don't know. It's just generally more of a cartoony look. So since it's both styles are hand drawn, there's definitely similarities. They're both kind of monochrome. I'm black and white. They're kind of black and yellow. So it's definitely similar. Wasn't exactly intentional, and in the future I'm hoping to kind of be able to differentiate my style a bit more. But yeah, definitely some inspiration from them. I think what they did is really cool.
All right, it works though. You're right.
Yeah.
I think that's about it for the Cloud Climber questions. As an indie game developer, when you were first starting out, or even maybe now, what was your average budget in learning to create your own games, such as courses or outside sources for art, soundtrack, or etc. if you used them?
$0.
$0?
$0. Yeah. So I started learning game development when I was 12, and as a broke 12-year-old, you can't really afford to spend money on stuff. So yeah, so even now, like with My Beautiful Paper Smile, I don't spend money on anything, other than product submission fees. Well, actually, that's not entirely true. Well, okay, I don't spend money on My Beautiful Paper Smile. I do spend money, or did spend money, on the Cloud Climber fan pack. That was something that I did spend money on. I hired some people to do like the wallpapers and stuff. So that was cool. But yeah, other than that, I have a budget of 0. And I've just gotten used to that. So that's just kind of what I've stuck with.
Well, I guess now I can just ask, name 3 games that you think people should try if they haven't already.
Okay. All right. Little Nightmares, for one. I definitely like that game. That's a cool game. Goodness, 3? That's a lot.
That's not a lot.
Yeah, I don't play many games.
You're a game developer that doesn't play games?
Well, not that many. No, I just make them. All the games I play are very average. Like they're not like I've been playing CS:GO and Minecraft lately. It's very very unlike the stuff that I develop. So I don't know. But Little Nightmares is a great one. I love the FNAF series. Bendy and the Ink Machine is kind of cool. I don't know if I would put that on my recommendation list. Let me check my Steam library here. Jeez. Trying to think of other ones.
How many games do you actually have in your Steam library?
Probably like 50, and most of them are free.
Whew, I have over 900.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and it keeps growing.
Yeah, I don't know. I find it hard to spend money on games. I guess I just have a hard time spending money in general. In most cases, unless it's food. I like food.
Yeah, food's good.
But yeah, no, I've got 20 games installed. And then I've got, oh shoot, I have to have 190 that I just have in my library.
All right.
Which is more than I thought I had, but yeah. Oh, hey. Oh, here's one. Hellblade. That's a great one. Play Hellblade.
All right.
Got some really cool sort of horror elements. Really great design, good enemy design, good level design, cool graphics, cool story. I really liked it.
Forgot one other thing. Do you test your gameplay on your own, or do you have friends and family try it out?
Yeah, so I test it on my own. Usually, I'll like if I have a section of gameplay to test, I'll play through it like 5-10 times or whatever, and just try to break it on my own. And then I'll have family members play it, I'll have friends play it, and then when we're getting ready to like do a big update, so like when we launched the first 2 chapters, and then later on when we launched the 3rd chapter of of My Beautiful Paper Smile, my publisher had a QA team um, you know, professionally test it, go through it, and send us back a list of bugs. When it comes to like the smaller stuff like Cloud Climber, I just basically just tested it myself. I don't know if I had anybody else test it before I submitted it. I might have had like my brother play it, but that probably would have been about it. Um, but yeah, so for my beautiful paper smile, I definitely take a slightly more professional approach, as I would with whatever future larger scale commercial products I do. But with
Right.
the smaller free stuff, I don't approach it quite as seriously.
What games would you typically set out as free, and which ones would you typically put a price on?
Just how do I decide?
Yeah.
Well, all of my free games. Well, okay, so Cloud Climber, it was made in a week, and it's 15 minutes long. So like, I feel like if I was to charge any amount of money for it, it would just people would just be really mad. They'd be like,
Right.
"Oh, I got scammed." Same thing with My Friend Is a Raven. It was done in a week. It's like even shorter. It's like 5 minutes long.
Really?
Um, yeah, there's four endings, so if you go through and try and find them all, you could maybe spend as long as like a half an hour in it, but it's still super short. So I just feel like I can't justify asking people to pay for it. Um, but then we've got My Beautiful Paper Smile, which is it's currently about 3 hours long, and it'll probably be about 4 hours long once it's completely finished. And this one I've spent much more than a week on. I've put thousands of hours into it, and I want to see a little bit of a return from that. So that one I'm charging money for. But yeah, I mean, I also recently put out Night and Rivragger, which is kind of a free prequel sort of game to My Beautiful Paper Smile. So if you haven't played My Beautiful Paper Smile yet, and you want a free introduction to that whole world, Night and Rivragger, which is free on Steam, itch.io, Game Jolt. That's a good place to start and learn a little bit more about the game. But that one is also free. We did that kind of as like as a promotional sort of thing, though. So that's why that one's free. Just kind of to get more players involved, and just reach a little bit of a larger audience with it.
How do you promote your games when they're like on Steam? Because Steam dishes out like 700 games in a week. How do you not like fall to the bottom of the totem pole?
Yeah, that is the I would say age-old question, but this stuff hasn't been around that long. So I guess that is the question. You know, the biggest thing is just to make a good game. That's like first and foremost, make a good game that's interesting and that looks appealing. And so that's something that I've put a lot of effort into trying to do. You know, if you've got a free game, that's really all that matters, is that it looks just really cool and that it looks like something people haven't played before. Because believe it or not, people on Steam have played games before. You got people with 900 games in their library, who've basically seen it all. So like,
Yeah.
you really need to stand out. So if there's no paywall, you don't really need to do much convincing. You can just intrigue people off of something. And so that's kind of what I think I was able to do with Cloud Climber. When it comes to paid games, though, you just got to do everything that you possibly can. So I do a lot of, well, I don't know if I do a lot, but I do social media stuff. I take little interviews and stuff like this. I have a small YouTube channel that I'm kind of using to promote my games. Post on Reddit every once in a while. I work with YouTubers on Easter eggs and stuff for the game, and arranging Let's Plays and stuff like that. My publisher, they send out press releases to press whenever we're doing big updates and stuff like that. So it's kind of you just got to do a lot of stuff and just figure out where the people are that care, so.
You said that My Beautiful Paper Smile is in early access?
Yes, it is.
How difficult is it to go back and fix some of the bugs that people talk about?
Uh, it can be tough. It can be tough. A lot of the, because I don't get that many bug reports, which is nice. But the issue is that all the bug reports that I do get, it's like it's like a 1 in 1,000 chance that it happens. So it's like basically impossible to reproduce, making it incredibly difficult to fix this stuff. So I've got one bug that's been present for probably like a year now, where basically every time that you load into a new level, the audio setting just gets turned down to 0, and like the brightness setting gets set down to 0. So every time you load into a new level, it's really dark and there's no sound. And I have no clue what the issue is. It only happens to like a couple people. And basically what I'm going to need to do, for stuff like this is just completely just redesign the whole settings menu and just try to do it in a different way that will hopefully just fix the issue. So a lot of the stuff like that, I'm kind of just putting off until the final launch, when I'll hopefully have more time to just sit down and just redesign a bunch of stuff. Because a lot of it, I think, is just going to take, just basically just changing the entire infrastructure of some of these systems. So it definitely can be difficult with a lot of this stuff. Yeah, it's not always easy.
I was gonna say, wow. Is there anything else like a gamer can do for a game dev as far as seeing these bugs? I don't know if like recording a video of it happening. I know that's rare because we don't always record videos of what we're doing. But any like screenshots and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, if it's a bug that happens, in like a specific area of the game, sometimes people will be like, "Oh, I had this bug in this part of the game," and they'll just really vaguely describe it. It's like, "Oh yeah, like over by the wooden door," when there's like a billion wooden doors in the game. So like taking screenshots of specific areas where something happens is useful. If you do have videos of stuff happening, that's always really, really useful. Video footage is probably the most useful thing. Oftentimes, like when I'm working with the QA team, they'll send over video footage of every single bug that occurs. So usually I can just take a look at the description for the bug briefly and then watch the video and be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I know what's going on with that." So yeah, video footage when possible is great. Screenshots, to help explain areas are good. And other than that, like if you're reporting a bug, just be overly detailed. Give way more details than you think you need. You can give us the time that you were playing the game, the settings that you were playing it on, your computer specs. Anything helps, or not necessarily always, but sometimes it's surprising what helps.
But I guess even in some given situations, like you said, you know about this bug for like a year now. Even if we recorded it and shown it to you, you wouldn't be able to do anything with it.
Yeah, I mean, in some cases, there's nothing that a person can really do. I mean, usually just if it's something that I already know about. Yeah, that's one that I feel kind of bad about, because I know that there are a lot of people waiting to play the game until, like they're waiting until that bug is fixed. And I don't know, it's kind of tough because like now I'm just ranting, but
it's fine.
No, in any case, yeah, video footage doesn't always help, but it usually does 99% of the time. And also I wish I could fix all the bugs, but I can't.
It'd be nice.
Yeah, it definitely would.
Yeah, whenever I'm playing a game and I see bugs, I'm like, are they even able to fix that at this point? Because I don't know
Yeah,
anything about game design. I don't know if they can go back and rework the code or anything like that.
yeah, it's not uncommon to see games. I mean, like, if they're just poorly designed, which mine isn't. It's not the best designed. I mean, I'm just some random dude trying to make video games. Um, but oftentimes, you see stuff where just the foundation of whatever system is just screwed up, and it's like it's just a house of cards. You try and fix one thing, and then it just wrecks a bunch of other stuff. So it can definitely be kind of rough.
Yeah. Alright, is there anything you would like to promote on your end to end this interview with?
Play all of my games on Steam. 2-star games. Yeah, that's about it. Hey, and you can follow me on Twitter at 2-star games. That's about it.
That's about it, huh? Not even gonna
Yep.
mention your YouTube channel or anything, right?
Well, I mean, good. Hey, subscribe to my YouTube. Also 2-star games.
Shameless promotion, come on.
But yeah, that's about it. But thanks for having me.
Alright, well,
It
thanks
was,
for joining
good
once
to talk.
again.
Yeah, not a problem.
I wish you the best in your game making.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem. Have a good one.
All right. Thanks. Yeah, you too.